Hey everybody, it's me, PD Warren0829, back with another Bloodborne video. This is going to be our third and final entry in the Defiled Chalice Dungeon Bosses Guide series, and it's the defiled version of the Amygdala. This is a boss who's both easier than the other two, and yet the fight is longer. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. Leave me a comment below, and if you enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe to my channel. And if there's anything else in particular you'd like to see, let me know. All input is welcome. Now, one of the things going into this fight I cannot recommend enough is to get bolt paper. It works against the Amygdala. This is a boss that when I fought him in the main game, I had no problem with him whatsoever. I think I beat him on my second attempt, just smashed through him. In the Defiled Chalice Dungeon, though, it's a much different story. Now, coming off of the Watchdog of the Old Lords, you're tempted to think that all these different attacks are individual things that he might just be chained together, when in all reality he's only got a handful of attacks, period, and you can react to these attacks fairly safely almost all the time. So it's not so much a difficult fight per se as it's just an endurance fest. So the first thing you want to do when you step in the room is you want to lock in on his head, and you want to keep dodging clockwise. You want to keep moving towards his left. Now, the gimmick of the Amygdala is that his hands and his head all have special weak points on them, where it's real easy to get up underneath him to get by his feet and his tail, but those take very little damage compared to the rest of him. So let's look at some of what he's doing right now. He's not going to change for a little while. He's got a couple of combos that he does. What we're looking for is for him to hit the ground. First, we see this laser right here, and just keep sidestepping to the left, the laser will miss you. See, he's got those thrusting combos, and then he's got that combo right there where he hits the ground. All we're going to do is we're going to wait until we see his hands land on the ground and try to get close then and hit him. He's got, I think, a total of 3 different like kind of rush combos where he just slams all of his arms. And then he's got 2 different styles of ground slams. One of them he reaches real far in front of him with 4 of his arms, and the other one he puts the arms closer to the ground towards where his feet are at. And that's kind of what he looks like right there. Now, as you'll see, as I continue kind of side dodging, I hit him and then dodge out. Also, I do some back steps when he kind of rushes at me. I find if you just kind of go backwards, you can escape his range, go backwards a little bit, and then keep sidestepping. And this is going to be most of the fight. I mean, like I said, it's a battle of attrition. You want to hit him when you can, step out, and go away. Now, part of why this fight's going to take so long, and part of why this fight's going to be a little easier, is because of the weapon I'm using. I'm using the Threaded Cane, which is a great weapon to use against beasts. It's not necessarily the best weapon to use against something like the Amygdala. Something like Ludwig's Holy Blade or some other weapon like that, it's going to do more damage. As you can see, his combos can wreck you really hard. Now, there's one of the ground slams. We want to see things like that. If you're close enough to him, you can hit him 3 or 4 times, and then he's just going to go back into another one of his combos. The laser's easy to dodge. He's also got a poison vomit thing that he does. He did it early in the fight, and I haven't seen him repeat it yet so far, but he does do it again soon. Now, I did say that the Threaded Cane is a little bit easier to use, and that's partly because it gives me more range, so I can hit him a little bit more safely. Now, this is his big transformation where, like in the main game, he rips off a couple of his arms, and he uses these as weapons. Now, once we get to this point, you want to make sure that you're backstepping and not sidestepping when he goes to do his combos. You also want to make sure when you go in, by the way, there's the advanced version of his poison attack. Now he throws it everywhere. But you also want to make sure when you go in to attack him that you're hitting the arms that are still attached to him. If you hit the arms that he's holding, it's not going to damage him. However, the extra attacks are pretty much just glorified versions of what he was doing before. Instead of shooting poison in one spot, he shoots it in a big space. Instead of just slapping him on the ground in front of him where one back step would be enough, he's got, you know, arms that he's using kind of like baseball bats, and so you've got to do a good chunk of sidestepping to get around him, good chunk of backstepping. Got to keep your distance. Your strategy is going to be the same thing, though. We want to see him put his arms on the ground, and if we can't do that, then we want to get as close to him as we can and just dodge in, do an attack, dodge out. My blood vial management is not the best in this fight, but I will say this. I said he's the easiest of the 3 bosses I fought so far. It took me 4 attempts to beat him, and when I beat him, I was really tired too. So I mean, once you get the strategy down and you practice it a few times, it's not that bad. Now perhaps if you use a short range weapon, something like the Blades of Mercy, it would be a little bit harder to do it because you're gonna have to get in and get out a lot quicker. Alright, here's his other big attack, is the jumping attack. Now 9 times out of 10 when he jumps, if you just stand still, when he lands, it's not going to hit you. That's not every time, and sometimes it stings really bad. But the easiest way to counter his jumps when he does it is to just stand still, let him land, and attack him as soon as he hits the ground. As you can see, I'm playing it really, really close and not necessarily being as smart as I should be with my blood vials, but to be honest, this was really late at night. I was really tired, and I was doing way better than I thought I would. My 3rd attempt did not go well, and I thought, well, I'll give it one more shot, and then I'll go to bed. As you can see, I'm really out of blood vials, and my health is not great. So I know that I've got to play it as safe as possible and just try to hit him as much as I can. I wasn't really going for his legs there. Stand still. See, he lands. You're fine. I was kind of going for his back arms because any of his arms that are attached to him have that weak spot in the wrists. But I was missing a little bit. I was panicking a little bit. I knew I couldn't take any more attacks from him, so time to get in, get out, and keep the pressure on. One of the strategies I didn't really use that much because I'm just not good at it is you can hit his head too. You can focus on his head and you can eventually stagger him and get some extra damage in on his head that way. It's one of those things I'm not great at, so this is the strategy I used. As I got towards the end of this, my nerves just went through the roof. I'm trying to get safe hits on him, and he's decided that he's going to just jump as much as humanly possible. Or I guess, technically speaking, as much as amygdala possible. But just keep it at it, man. Just keep whacking away and do the best that you can. And as long as you try to play it safe and you try to use a good strategy, you will be able to beat him. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Thanks for sticking around for the whole series. And hopefully you can get through the Chalice Dungeons yourselves. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by.